So this is the frame from the AR-6s, and one side of the frame is painted black and the other side is the masonite side. It's just plain, masonite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch some fabric over this. I was able to go on eBay and I found a vendor that sold a nice fabric. Usually I go and buy it from Charles Craft on Michael's. They have a fabric, but they're no longer selling it. So this fabric is pretty nice. It has the nice pattern, the grain pattern that the originals had, and it has a nice tone to it. It's like a very light beige color. So it looks really nice. So what I'm going to do first is, what I usually do is I iron them, get all the wrinkles out, and then I'll stretch them onto the stretcher bar. So I'm going to go over to the ironing board now and just iron this thing. So I'm going to iron it now. I have the iron heating up, and you can see through this fabric, which is a good sign. So that allows the sound to really move through this fabric. It's a nice weave. So I have it on this steam setting. Just want to make sure I get all the wrinkles out. You could think that you're stretching the wrinkles out, but you may never really get the wrinkles out of the fabric. I'm also an artist, so I'm used to stretching canvases on canvas board, and even there sometimes you think that you're stretching all of the wrinkles out of the canvas, but find that sometimes some of those wrinkles are still there. So this is coming out nicely. So now what I'll do is I'm going to look at the pattern, and I noticed on the original ARs the weave, the longer part of the weave goes down, so I'm going to try to keep that same pattern going, and I'm going to use my grills. Basically I'm going to lay my grills down and then make a line around, and then we'll stretch it. So I'm going to use about a 1-inch border all the way around, so that'll give me enough to wrap it around. So on this side, just slide this over a little bit and give myself a 1-inch border. And I'll do the same over here. I use my pencil and give myself a 1-inch border around the frame. So I have a long ruler. There's more than enough fabric that I have here, but there's not enough fabric to do another speaker. But this is enough. This would be enough to even to do my 3's. The company sells enough to do the larger AR speaker. I'm just going to mark this here, and then just cut it so I can move this out of the way. I can see my line. So I'm just going to cut this. Sometimes I have that second person holding the fabric at the other end, and I can just basically just slide these scissors right through the fabric. Here I have my fabric. fabric. Kind of look at the pattern, look at the weave, so that you don't have like this uneven weave. When you decide you want to stretch it, you want to try and stretch that even too. So here I'll just take off an inch at the top. Same thing here. Just measure off an inch off the border. And then after this, so that I don't have to go through the long process, I will take the other fabric for the other speaker and measure off this one for the second one. Let me just cut this, lay the other one on top, use this as a pattern for the second piece. And this way I'll have two pieces for both grills. So I'm just going to mark this off and cut this. You don't need to watch me do this. I'll do this and then I'll be right back. So here's the original grills, and doing a little bit more of an inspection, I see that they weren't that careful as far as the pattern, you know, keeping everything even. So, and then this one was stapled on the back. Sometimes what I've done is wrap them around, and I use hot glue. I run the hot glue around and bring the fabric into the hot glue and push it down. That works. I'm going to use the staple. Now what I found that the staple guns that work the best aren't the heavy duties, but the light duties, because they have thinner staples and they seem to penetrate into the masonite better. Actually, I use this on my wood canvases for my paintings also, because they seem to work a little bit better. So that's what I'm going to be using today. I'm going to be using the lightweight staples. They're thinner and they seem to cut through better. So let me lay out my frame. And all I did with the frame was take out the staples. I pried all the staples, and I couldn't reuse the fabric on the old one because it was frayed all around the edges. So I didn't try to do anything like trying to clean it or anything like that. It was best to just replace it. So I did a careful inspection of the fabric itself, and I noticed that there was like a little imperfection over here, so I pulled it. I had enough because I gave it a 1-inch border all around. So I'm going to bring this little imperfection over and off the outside of the frame. And what I usually do is I'll start from the here to here to here to here in the middle. So I'll bring this to here and put a staple in. And then I'll go over to this side. Bringing the staple. So the idea is to put a staple here, and then to move from here to here. So I have the centers done, and then I work my way from here to the corners, and then from here to the corners. Okay, so now I'm going to put staple at the top, and then I'll move down to the bottom and pull down at the bottom, tighten it a little bit. You don't have to over tighten it, just get it taut and tight. Put a staple in here. Any staples that don't completely go down, I keep the hammer on the side, and this one's pretty much down pretty good. Just tap it a little bit and bring the staple in. So here, now I'll start, as I'm putting the staples in, I'm pulling it down, but also I'm pulling it towards the corner so that I don't have any sags on the side. I'll pull it this way. I'll pull it down and pull it towards the corner a little bit. And then I'll go down to the bottom, do the same thing. Pull it towards the corner. Here. Pull it. Make sure I don't have any sags in here. You've seen a lot of grill cloths when you look at them and say, oh, they got sags on them. It's because they didn't pull it and then pull it towards the corner. You don't have to over pull it, just pull it a little bit towards the corner. So here, just turn this around. And now it's just a matter of doing the same thing all the way around. Pull them towards the corner. Make sure I don't have any sags. And work my way to this corner. And as I do that, it flattens nicely, pulls in nicely, and it pulls right nicely into the corners. So I'll continue to do this. I'll do it in silent mode. After you get to the corner, what you want to do is bring one side over to the corner, bring it all the way over, and then flip inside. They used to call these the Dutch corners. Flip it around the inside and box the corner in. Let me see if I'm right there. Make it tight around the corner. So let's see. Get a nice corner, and then we'll flip it around. You see the corner, so it gives you a nice corner. So it's the same thing I'll do. Bring everything into the corner, bring things into the corner. Watch for any sags. You don't want any sags between staples. The other way that I do it sometimes, like I said, I use hot glue. But this way, if you do this, it's easy to, if you want to change the grill so at some future date, you can do it. Alright, so this is the last corner. So I pull everything to the corner and then bring everything to the corner over here. Fold this back in and pull it tight so that, because there's no space in here when you put it into the speaker itself, so bring it in. And that's it. Now I'll just take my scissors and cut off some of the excess around the inside. Just cut this right out, and then that's it. So now the only thing now is just to reattach the old badges, and what I did is I just took my pencil and moved it around to where I could find out where the old hole was. So I don't want to make extra holes trying to put in the new badge. And here's the badge that in the previous video that we used to polish them up nicely. We have our grill cloths with the AR-6 badge ready to go. This is my grill from my AR-3, and you can see this one was hot glued. What I'm going to do now is put the grill down using a hot glue gun instead of staples. So it's the same principle. When I put it down, instead of using staples, I'm just going to put a little hot glue down. And sometimes in a way it moves a little bit faster. So I put the hot glue in. Then I move down to the opposite side like I did before with the staples. Put a little hot glue in. Pull it. And just press it into the hot glue. Go over to this side. A little bit of the hot glue in. And over here. Pull it over taut. Push it into the hot glue. So the rest of it is the same way. I'm just going to move around using the hot glue. And this, actually, I think this fabric, because it's thin, works better with hot glue than it did with staples. So I'm going to continue, and then we'll just, you don't need a hint, you can just watch me do it. I don't know if you noticed, but this process is much faster. I'm used to doing it with the glue gun, but it's much quicker. And so, see, I've already got these corners down, and I'm just going to finish the rest with the hot glue. I showed you the first way was the traditional way with the staples, but this is much faster. There they are. Both of the AR-6s ready. At least the grills are ready. So you can see it was pretty fast. The one on the left was done with hot glue, and the one on the right was done with staples. So I think the one on the left with hot glue was much better, especially with the fabric, the thinner fabric. The one with the hot glue worked out better. Sometimes people use contact cement, but I just grabbed the hot glue. I've been doing it for a long time, and it works very well for me. So I just want you to take a look at these babies. They look very nice.